Alright, so this is a bit of an experiment, because I think this is the last topic that I really need to, have a well-rounded channel because, I talk about Japan and I talk about, mental health, especially mental health, and the Navy, and I post up my music, but I don't really give my opinions about different types of music, and I think that's the last, that's the oregano to finish up this little soup. So, I'll start off with something simple, and see what goes from here. I'll see what the reactions are, and it's gonna be the same as with my Navy videos. I can do this request based, or I can just do it based upon what I want to do. I guess the latter would be easier for me, but I'll start off with my 5 favorite bands. Now, initially, I would always state that the Beatles and Led Zeppelin are 2 of my top 5 favorite bands, but I've realized over the years, even though they're in my top 10 and they are two of my favorite bands, they just don't make the top 5. So starting off, I have to start with Rage Against the Machine. This is one of the several cases from when I was a preteen and a teenager that I heard a band, didn't really like them for a long time, then all of a sudden I just wanted to buy all of their music. I remember for my 12th birthday I got each one of their albums, and I just was in love with this band for a long ass time. Because they're one of several bands that I consider like a perfect band. They have like this really signature sound, and they just own it. And I guess you could say Tom Morello's guitar playing kind of overshadows the other members in a sense, but I really don't believe that. I think, because in reality his guitar playing is actually very simplistic, but it's very innovative and very eclectic, and it fits really well into the mold. So that's what I mean when I say that they're a perfect band. They each have their place, and they don't try to outshine each other, and they almost act as a DJ, ballasting the rap of Zach De La Rocha. So in the same vein, I'm going to say that my number 4 favorite rock band is Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I thought about it, their names are actually really similar. That's why I almost just said Rage Against the Machine. Even though I actually haven't listened to all of their music, I've listened to the majority of their music, and they just have this jam band, free spirit vibe to them. And it's the same thing, like even though each member is phenomenal, they still don't try to outshine each other. They all have their place and they just work really well together. That's what makes a perfect band, not every member needs to be a virtuoso, even though they pretty much all are. But they all have to suit the song and, serve the song. And it's almost the same because, at least early on, Anthony Kiedis was, more of a rapper than a singer. And he just kind of developed into a singer over the years. But, they acted as the ballast to what he had to say, even though what he had to say, at least early on, wasn't as, deep as what Zach De La Rocha was singing. But, it still all works. I might try to remake this video someday in the future because I'm kind of going off the cuff. I was originally going to make this video like a few months ago, but, I decided against it because it just felt too inauthentic. For number 3, number 3 is Pearl Jam. This band was an obsession that I had twice. Once when I was 12 and once when I was 15. And to this day, they're still, obviously they're in my top 5. And, obviously, even though they've had a shift of like 5 different drummers, the members just work really well together. You got Mike McCready, who can summon both, Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix in the same, guitar solo. And I remember watching, Even Flow. The video for Even Flow, actually the video for Alive, well, they're both essentially the same video. Just them, jamming and rocking, and even like on Saturday Night Live when they're playing Porch, they just got that vibe to them. They just got that, that natural feel to them. They're, another one of the perfect bands. And they got the longevity and, especially with their fights against Ticketmaster to keep prices low and, recording like pretty much all of their concerts for at least a few years. It doesn't get much more rock than that, so I gotta have them at number 3, and they're, and they'll perpetually always be one of my favorite bands. Now at number 2, I have Radiohead. I remember, same as with my number 1 band, which I'll reveal after this one, because this is number 2. Radiohead was definitely an acquired taste. It took me a long time to get into them. I heard, I remember seeing the video to Paranoid Android when I was about 10 years old in 1997. Actually, I would have been 9. I remember that video just stuck with me because it's so fucking weird and cool, and it reminded me of a lot of the shows that were on MTV at the time, like Beavis and Butthead. So it kind of fit, it kind of made sense. In fact, I thought it was a cartoon at first. But I really share with the philosophy of Tom York, being a rock star is boring. It's, because they started off as your standard guitar rock band with Pablo Honey. And even with Kid A, even though that was kind of innovative, well, that was very innovative actually, they still kind of fit into that vein. Then with OK Computer, and then especially Kid A, they just, they took that mold, pushed it to its limits, then bursted out of it. And and I especially like how Tom York cites Aphex Twin as one of his biggest influences, because that's an artist I'm definitely going to have to bring up in the future, because he's my favorite electronic artist. But that's off topic. It just amazes me how they're able to own their sound and just keep recreating it, and they're still interesting and still creating to this day. And I mean, I guess they're almost like the modern Pink Floyd. And they have the honor of being one of the only 2 rock bands I currently listen to regularly, because I personally have moved on to electronic music in my own right. But that's also off topic. I need to get back on topic. But I guess really, instead of just spouting off my opinions about Radiohead, you could tell me your opinions, because I'm already stating what I think about them. So for my number 1 rock band is Tool. I remember I heard Schism on the radio when I was 12, and I hated that song because they played it all the time, and then I saw the music video, and me being 12 years old, I thought it was really weird. I mean, it is really weird, but once I turned 18, it was really interesting, it had depth to it. But I remember I didn't really like them. Then I heard the song H. I didn't know it was them at first. Then I got obsessed with that song. Then I heard 46 and 2, and then I was hooked. I had to hear those songs. I had to own them so I can listen to them over and over again. Then I remember my dad bought me their first full-length album, Undertow, and then Lateralis, and I thought for sure those would have those 2 songs, and those were the 2 wrong ones. Because at that time they only had 4 albums out, so I got all upset. But then I listened to Undertow more, because I returned Lateralis to buy The Untouchables by Korn, and because I was also obsessed with Thoughtless at that time. But that's off topic. I keep going off topic. I'm the worst video creator ever. I listened to Undertow over and over again, and I realized they had the perfect rock sound. And I know I keep using the term perfect band, but they had the perfect rock sound. It was so solid, and it was like a machine. And it just really made me understand rock music, because I guess, or at least modern rock music, because up until that point I was really into the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, and especially Jimi Hendrix, like I said. And modern rock just didn't really make sense to me, and it finally did. And to this day, they're my favorite band. But it's funny, because I can barely listen to them now, because I've listened to all their albums so many times, and they won't fucking get on iTunes, so I couldn't listen to them anyway unless I want to listen to them on YouTube. But this has probably been the worst music list ever made, and hopefully people will tell me that and tell me how fucking stupid I am, and correct me and tell me what the 5 best bands actually are, and tell me I'm the worst YouTuber ever. So please do. So as always, if you like my video, subscribe. If you like my music, buy it. And if you hate me, tell everybody. Out.
Pizzaboynizza. 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 Pizzaboynizza.